So today's video is a sequel to a video that I released last month entitled A Different Way to Practice Scales. And the whole concept behind that video was anchoring your understanding of scale patterns to chord shapes so that you can more easily move between different areas of the guitar neck. And so I see scales, chords, and arpeggios as all part of the same patterns. And I picture it as a synergy of connections that allows me to easily change between different harmonic landscapes. So when I have a chord change, I can picture all the different ways that I can move between the chords and scales in a single position because I know the scales and arpeggios in relation to the chord patterns that I know. And really all of the shapes of the guitar create one web of interwoven patterns that, if you understand properly, make it easy to navigate through different chord changes. So I'm going to develop that concept today by diving into minor chords, and specifically minor 7 chords related to the Dorian scale, the Dorian minor scale. And you can adjust any of these exercises to apply to natural minor just by lowering the 6th scale degree, but I'm using Dorian minor because I like the way it sounds better and I use it more often than the natural minor scale. So I'm going to dive in and explain these exercises, and then at the end of this video, if you want to just jump ahead, I've got a practice workout that's meant for you to play along with to increase your skills. If you want to just jump to that, you can do so. It starts slow, and there's going to be sheet music at the bottom of the screen so that you can play along and learn the exercises that way. But if you want a full description of the different exercises, stay with me here and I will go through them one by one. First exercise for today's workout is going to start at root position D minor 7. So all of these exercises are going to be based around D minor 7 and D Dorian scale. So I'm going to start here because this is one of the most common minor 7 voicings that I use and that I see people using. So here are a couple of variations I like to do on this one. I like to use my pinky to play some of these available notes around the chord. And oftentimes, if I'm soloing, I'll use a pattern like this one that surrounds a chord like this. So exercise 1 begins here at a D minor 7 chord and starts by strumming the D minor 7 chord on beat 1, holding for the whole first beat. So 1, and then on the E of 2, or the second 16th note of beat 2, I'm going to begin an arpeggio, going up from the root note D, going up a minor 7 arpeggio, and then when I get to this flat 7, I'm going to go to the root again, and then I'm going to go up a minor 7 arpeggio from there. So I've done 2 octaves of a D minor 7 arpeggio, starting on the E of 2. So I'm going to count that out slowly. So 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4. And from there, I'm going to descend a D Dorian scale. So until I reach this note, which is C, then I'm going to do a 16th note rest before I continue down the scale here. And then I finish on D with a quarter note to finish out the pattern. So now in time, it goes like this. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and one more time. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and and notice that a lot of these notes I'm using legato technique, which is hammer-ons or pull-offs to make a smooth connection between these notes. You can do that. You can pick every note if you want. I prefer to do legato on some of these to get a little smoother sounding connections, but you can do it however you like. The one thing that I would suggest is make sure that you're accenting the first note of each beat grouping. So make sure that you're aware of where those are so that you can feel your time properly. You want to be feeling each note grouping properly, and this is what I mean by that. Obviously, where there's a rest at the beginning of the 16th note grouping, we're not going to be playing a note or accenting a note, but you want to still feel the beginning of that grouping. And so I'm going to accent those really deliberately here to show you what I mean. So 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and so if you practice through it, accenting the notes like that, you're going to orient your time feel properly. And if you don't know what I mean by time feel, I have a lesson that I developed that's called Developing Strong Time Feel. And that one goes into great depth about this idea of accenting the first note of each grouping so that you're orienting your time properly. And this is one of the most important elements of developing a good sound to your playing, is developing good time feel. The second exercise for today is beginning again at the same voicing here, but this exercise is going to be spanning into another position here. So I'm going to be strumming again on the 1, and then my scale pattern is going to start on the E of 2, or the second 16th note of 2. So in this example, I added a couple of more rests to create smaller note groupings. And so pay attention to where those rests happen. So I'm going to begin here again on beat 1, and I'll play through it slow, counting it out for you. So the one thing to note is that I'm going to start in this position the same way that I did for the first exercise, except that I'm going to use my third finger to play this note, the F, at the 8th fret of the 5th string, so that I can shift into the position necessary to hit the rest of this scale, because it's going to be happening in the next position up. So here we go. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and so one time a little bit faster. 3, 4, 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, like my Facebook page, and you might want to check out a free course that I developed that's available on my website, practicemakesbettermusic.com, and it's called Pentatonic Pathways, and it's a way for you to develop your soloing chops through a better understanding of the different patterns of the fretboard using the pentatonic scales. You can check that out at practicemakesbettermusic.com. Next, we're going to move up to this chord position, which I've got my first finger just barred across all 6 strings. The only other note that I'm fretting is here at the 5th string. This is another version of the D minor 7. Very similar structurally to this one, except I've got this note on top here. Otherwise, this note arrangement is exactly the same. 1, 5, flat 7, flat 3, 5. 1, 5, flat 7, flat 3, 5, 1. And this rhythm is going to be exactly the same as the previous rhythm, though the notes aren't going to be exactly the same. So I'm going to start same way I've been starting, with a D minor 7 arpeggio, moving up from here. So here's the finger I'm using. So I'm going to go 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and again 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and Exercise 4 is going to be based on a less common chord voicing, but it's not a D minor 7, it's actually just a D minor with the F in the bass. So that's the flat third in as the lowest note, making it a first inversion. And here I've just got a D power chord, 1-5-1, that flat 3 on the bottom. And this is going to bring me to the next position up from this chord here. And into the next position of the scale to give you another position to work from here. So in this one, I didn't put any rests in here, so it's just going to be an ascending arpeggio, moving into a scale, and then descending down a scale pattern. So it's going to start on the 2 or the 9, however you think about it. So here I'm going to play this chord on beat 1, and then I have, again, like all the other exercises, the first note of the scalar pattern is going to begin on the E of 2, so 2E, and so on. So I'm gonna count it out. So 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4. A little faster. 3, 4, 1, 2E and 3E and 4E and 1E and 2E and 3E and 4.